Finally, there is better news for young college graduates. A new economic report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York shows unemployment rates for the latest group of diploma holders are quickly falling, and incomes have reached the highest level in more than a decade. The Wall Street Journal's Josh Zumbrun has been looking at the new data, and he joins us now. Hi, Josh. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, Josh, the Great Recession took a toll across all ages of the labor market, but until recently, the economy presented a mixed picture for college graduates. Many economists kept using the term underemployment. So how surprising is this new data?
Well, there's been a big question over whether or not the recession, whether or not it was going to fade and we were going to kind of see things return to a more normal state of affairs, or whether or not the recession, the aftermath of it, was going to be really different for college graduates. You know, there was a lot of concern that maybe we'd entered this kind of new world where the benefits of going to college weren't as great as they used to be. And what had been happening, actually, even in the years before the Great Recession, is that, yes, college graduates were doing better than people that hadn't gone to college, but that was primarily because the people that hadn't gone to college, their incomes were falling. It wasn't because college was getting to be a better proposition, but it was the case that only having a high school diploma was getting worse and worse. And now we've finally seen that trend change, and it wasn't clear that that trend would change. And what we're seeing now is that for college graduates, their incomes, young college graduates, their incomes appear to be rising in a pretty quick and decisive way.
So in your mind, does this report then put that question to rest over whether a college degree is worth it?
It certainly looks like it. I mean, the gap between what someone with a college degree can expect to earn and what someone with a high school degree can expect to earn, even when you account for how expensive college has gotten, the difference in pay is really substantial. Almost immediately, in their early 20s, college graduates are earning about twice as much as high school graduates, even more for some majors, and we know that gap grows over the course of people's lifetimes.
Certainly good news. Now, does this report break down what areas of study are the most lucrative after graduation?
Yeah, the report goes major by major, which is really interesting data to have because it's not something that's generally available. You might think that maybe there's really good economic data on this already and that all these questions are well known. Actually, there's not. That's one of the really interesting things that they've done here is produce this. One of the things you see so clearly in this data is how big the returns have gotten to people who study science, technology, engineering. All of the top 15 majors are in those fields.
And can you give us an idea of what a young grad who's got an engineering degree, let's say, can make the first few years out of school?
Yeah, even in their early to mid 20s, people with degrees in some of the top engineering fields are earning $60,000 to $70,000, and that's just the median. Now, that means, you know, half the people with those degrees are earning even more than that.
Certainly promising. Now, do we know what the Fed intends to do with this new data going forward?
One of the reasons this is really exciting for people who study the labor market is the Fed is going to start releasing this data once a quarter. You know, it had never been out there before on a regularly available to see how, in a really sophisticated, statistically valid way these college students were doing. And now it's going to be released quarterly. It's really exciting for people that follow the labor market like this.
All right, Josh, thank you so much for that.